Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to break down the essential role of the product owner, and we're going to focus on the core fundamentals that, let's be honest, every single job interview is going to expect you to know inside and out. First, we're going to nail down the absolute core identity of the product owner. Then we'll get into the really practical side of things. The tools, the rules, and the strategies they actually use to succeed. We'll go from mastering the product backlog all the way to understanding the real cost of what gets built. All right, so let's just dive right in. To really get this, we've got to start with the absolute core identity of a product owner. Like, what is their primary purpose? What are they there to do? So if you look at the official Scrum Guide definition, it all boils down to one thing: maximizing value. And look, this isn't about being some kind of project manager or just a team lead. Nope. It's about being totally, completely obsessed with the value the team is pumping out for the product and for the people who actually use it. No, seriously, if you walk away with just one thing from all of this, let it be this phrase, because every single decision, every priority, every little conversation a product owner has, it has to tie back to this. It's your North Star, plain and simple. Okay, so how does a product owner actually do that? I mean, how do you go about maximizing value? It's not just some fuzzy idea, right? Well, it all starts with their number one tool, the product backlog. And let's be clear, this is not just some simple to-do list. Think of it more like the living, breathing, constantly evolving roadmap for the entire product. It is the single source of truth for all the work the Scrum team does. And to really get a handle on the backlog, you got to remember three critical things about it. First, it's emergent. That just means it's never really done. It's always changing as you learn more. Second, it's ordered. This is huge. The order is how you steer the ship, how you guide the team toward that value we keep talking about. And finally, it has to be transparent, so everybody, and I mean everybody, is on the same page. Right. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. When it comes to what's actually in that backlog, and more importantly, the order of the items, the buck stops with one person. Lots of people will have opinions, for sure, but only one person gets to make the final call. And this is just so incredibly important. You're going to collaborate with everyone, right? Customers, your boss, the developers, everyone. But that final say on the backlog, it's yours and yours alone. And look, this isn't about a power trip. It's actually essential for you to do your job, to be able to effectively maximize that value. All right, so we've got our prioritized list of awesome, valuable stuff. But how do we make sure that what the team actually builds is truly valuable? Because, nothing kills value faster than shipping something buggy or half-baked. And this brings us to what I like to call the quality contract. So this contract is called the definition of done, and you should really think of it like a formal agreement. It's the whole team's shared understanding of what it means for a piece of work to be actually complete. This is your shield. It's what prevents that low-quality, unfinished junk from getting out the door and wrecking your product's value. So as a product owner, you absolutely have to know the answer to this. Does your company already have a standard definition of done? If they do, great. That's your minimum bar. If not, then it's on you to make sure your Scrum team creates one. You just can't guarantee quality without it. Protecting value with a solid definition of done, that's one piece of the puzzle. But really, truly maximizing it, that means looking way beyond just the cool new features. You have to understand the total long-term cost of owning the product. The great product owners, they see the whole picture, not just the fun development part. Yeah, this whole thing is called the total cost of ownership, or TCO. And what it does is it forces you to think about the entire life cycle of a feature. See, the cost doesn't just stop when the code is written. Oh no, you've got to release it, you've got to maintain it, you've got to fix the bugs, and you have to pay to keep it running in the background. It all adds up. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. There's this hidden force that can just completely sabotage your product's value. It's called technical debt. The best way to think about it is like using duct tape to fix a leaky pipe in your house. It's a quick fix, right? It works for now. But deep down you're going to have to come back later and do a proper, way more expensive repair. That's exactly what technical debt is in your product. So in a really healthy product, one with low technical debt, most of your team's precious time and energy, we're talking like 80%, is going toward building awesome new features that your customers are going to love. But As that technical debt starts to pile up, that duct tape starts to fail, it completely flips that ratio on its head. Suddenly, your team is bogged down. They're spending almost all their time, like 70%, just trying to keep the lights on, fixing old problems. And that directly suffocates your ability to deliver any new value, no matter how perfectly you've ordered your backlog. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. This is where a product owner really earns their stripes. How do you actually decide what to build next? The thing is, you've got a whole toolkit at your disposal. You might prioritize something based on pure business value. Or maybe you need to tackle a huge risk first. Or hey, maybe an urgent customer need just shot to the top of the list. The real art of being a product owner is knowing which lens to look through at any given moment, to constantly, continuously optimize that flow of value. So let's just pull this all together for a second. You are the value maximizer. You own the single source of truth, the backlog. You are the guardian of quality, and you manage the true total cost of your product. With all of that in your head, the most important question is always the next one, the one you have to answer for your product right now. What are you building next? And more importantly, why?